Story.
A marriage is a legally binding contract between a man and a woman, unless of course you live in a place that approves of marriages. Yes, marriage is a contract, get over it. Usually it is arranged, but sometimes it is purely out of love. In fact, very few countries let you marry for love. However, the rest of the world arranged marriages are frequent. Sometimes marriages in the ninja villages could prevent a war. Clans, such as the Hyugas, usually marry their children to someone of another village. It not only strengthens the bond between clans, but the village as well. Since the married couple are from two different villages, the clan heads usually decide where they stay. Say for example, Hinata is the heiress to become the next head. She would be married off to the second son of a clan, so that clan had an heir still. The man would take the Hyuga name and live with Hinata in the compound. But if aren't in the heir or heiress, you wind up marrying a close relative or a distant one. For Kunoichi not in a clan, but born of parents not a ninja like Sakura or an orphan like Tenten, they would be sent to either stop a war or end the political strain between the two villages. Usually in this case, it would a loss for one country because then the other one gains another warrior. In other clans such as the Yamanaka where they need to protect the clan techniques, they usually intermarry within the family. Normally these types of clan have different branches in different villages. So say if Ino needed to get married to stop a war, she would marry a distant relative. Even though incest is frowned upon by the council for a village, like everything else in the world, this helps protect secrets. And Kunoichi, who is related to a power political leader such as Tamari, is related to the case Kagegara. This type is used more frequent. So if she had to marry someone, it'd be either a relative of the leader or the leader himself. The Kunoichi special mission is when the Kunoichi passes two tests similar to the Chunin and Junin exams and when called upon to go on these missions. The only other requirement that the Kunoichi must be a Junin or Anbu like Anko, Shizune, Kurenai, or Yugo. Nowadays these missions are used less and less. Usually the mission is an A rank or S rank and require them to not back out. Always a solo mission, it involves assassinations. Usually a village is hired to kill a certain male person off. The Kunoichi must seduce the man then kill him. If they don't kill the guy on time, he might overtake the Kunoichi, since Kunoichi are physically weaker than men in some cases, and rape her. That is one of the main reasons why these are less frequent. In fact, under the short period of time that the Yondaime Hokage was in office before the Kyuubi attack, he refused to let any of the Kunoichi to take these missions. Haruno Sakura is now a 17-year-old Konoha Chunin medic nin. She is the apprentice of the Godem Hokage Tsunade, who is one of the Sennin. Sakura also trained under Hitaki Kakashi, who is the copycat ninja. Her teammates were Uchiha Sasuke, the last Uchiha, and Uzumaki Naruto, the Kyuubi container and the aspiring Hokage. Also for some time a ninja named Sai was her teammate and also was under Yamato, an Anbu who was there to help control Naruto and his demon. It's a fine Saturday morning and she is currently with her close friends Hyuga Hinata, Yamanaka Ino, and Yukido Tenten training because they are all entering the Junin exams that are coming to Konoha in 2 months. Yukido Tenten is a 18-year-old Konoha Chunin weapons specialist. She trained under Maeda Gai, the best taijutsu user in Konoha. Her teammates were Hyuga Neji, the prodigy of the Hyuga clan, and Rock Lee, the second best taijutsu user in Konoha. She is the weapons master of Konoha and uses fire jutsu with her weapons. Her trainer now is Mitarashi Anko. Like Sakura, Tenten aspires to become a Junin like her teammate Neji. Yamanaka Ino is a 17-year-old Konoha Chunin who is the second best interrogator in Konoha. She trained under her father first, Yamanaka Inoichi. Her Genin team was led by Sarutobi Asuma, one of the sons of the Sandaime Hokage and one of the best Junin in Konoha. Her teammates are Nara Shikamaru, who is the smartest person in Konoha with an IQ of over 200, and Akamichi Choji, who is a gentle giant but a formidable opponent. Ino then trained under Morino Ibiki to become one of Konoha's interrogators. Hyuga Hinata is the heiress of the Hyuga clan and is also a Konoha Chunin. Her Genin sensei was Yuhi Kurenai, who is the best genjutsu specialist in Konoha. Her teammates were Aburmane Shino, who is the heir to his clan and one of the best bug users in Konoha, and Inazuka Kiba, and Akamaru too. one of the best ninkin users from his family. Hinata currently is training under her father, Hyuga Hiyashi, so that when Hinata turns 21 that she will be able to take over the Hyuga clan as head. Hinata is the third best Byakugan user from the Hyuga clan, with her father being first and Neji being second. Currently, the girls were having mock Junin exam 1-on-1 battles. Sakura was fighting Hinata and Tenten was fighting Ino. They were very intense on training when someone popped into the clearing. "Hello, ladies," said Sai, the previous replacement of Sasuke on Team 7. Sai is now an ANBU that protects the Hokage and is similar to an assistant. He stopped working for Root a while ago during the Grass Country mission. "Hey, Sai, what's up?" asked Tenten. Let's see. Hokage-sama would like to see Sakura-san and Tenten-san in her office. And I was told to tell Hinata-san to go home to speak with her father and Miss Beautiful to go see her father as well," said Sai. "I have to go now." The girls exchanged looks and separated in their own ways. Sakura and Tenten headed toward the Hokage Tower, while Hinata headed over to the Hyuga compound and Ino headed to her flower shop. All four were wondering what they were needed for. It was the same day in Suna around noon. The Godem Case-Cage Gaara was sitting in his office waiting for his elder sister and brother to show up. Gaara was least pleased at what he was about to do to his family that was so carefully places back together after Naruto beat some sense into him. Gaara sighed and rubbed his eyes, which usually helps when he knows a headache was coming. "Gaara, what's matter?" asked Tamari, worried for her little brother. Kankuro looked at his younger brother and knew something was wrong. "Both of you need to sit down," sighed Gaara. And they complied. Anko, Kurenai and Yugo were sitting in the Junin lounge in the Hokage Tower eating some lunch when Shizune walked in. Shizune looked at the other females with a weird look. "Hey Shizune, what's wrong?" asked Anko. "After Tsunade-sama talks to Sakura and Tenten, she wants the four of us in her office," said Shizune. And they all knew what that meant. In the Hyuga compound in the main house, Hyuga Hiyashi sat at his desk patiently awaiting for his eldest daughter to arrive. Hanabi and Neji sat in two of the chairs waiting for Hinata as well. Hanabi was training with Konohamaru, Moegi and Udon. Neji was training with Shino, who became one of Neji's good friends and rivals. It's more of a rivalry though, since Shino's bugs are extremely hard to detect even with the Byakugan and Neji's wants to get better. Hinata entered the room and bowed before sitting. Since we are all here," said Hiyashi, "as you three know, I picked Hinata to be the heir in a mere few years. Now, there is something I have not mentioned. Hinata has to be wed on her 18th birthday in order to become head." "Hiyashi-sama, but how does this concern Hanabi-sama and I?" asked Neji. "I was getting to that. Hanabi, instead of placing you in the branch family, I'm going to make you the new head of the Hyuga Council when you turn 16. Neji, you will also be in the council to help your cousins, once Hinata becomes head, that is. Hiyashi-sama, the rules state that a branch family member cannot be in the council," said Neji. "I'm well aware of the rule, Neji," said Hiyashi with a stern voice. "That's why you won't become a council member until Hinata becomes head." "What does that have to do with anything?" said Neji, trailing off his question. "I'm going to get rid of the main and branch families and no more separation of the family," said Hinata. "I suppose by that time Naruto would be only a few tests away from being Hokage," said Neji, somewhat smiling. "But Hinata-sama, you don't mind having an arranged marriage?" "I thought I would when I was younger. I always knew that my marriage would be arranged, but as long as I can change the family some more," said Hinata. "Even if at one point I thought I would marry Naruto-kun because I thought I loved him. Not like Sakura-chan does anyway." "You will be meeting your betrothed tomorrow night at dinner," said Hiyashi. "All three of you are dismissed." Back in Suna, Gaara was preparing on how he was to say this to them. Gaara racked his brain to figure out a way to say this, no matter how hard it is. "Gaara, whatever you need to say it," said Kankuro. "It not any secret that Iwagakure no Sato, Earth Country, is ready to declare war on Konoha and Suna, because of a certain incident concerning one Inuzuka on border patrol accidentally killing one of Iwa ninjas and Kankuro on our border patrol," began Gaara. "Hey, I apologized for that and so did Kiba," complained Kankuro. "Well, it seems that something happened again with Konoha. Most likely the Anbu did something perhaps," said Gaara, "and to stop the war, Iwa has asked for one bride from Suna and one from Konoha, a specific Kunoichi." Who's the Kunoichi from Konoha? Asked Temari. I don't know, said Gaara, closing his eyes then opening them again, but the Kunoichi to wed the second son of Iwa's cage is you Temari. He chose you. What? Screamed Kankuro, didn't you get him to reconsider? Don't you think I tried, said Gaara, but Iwa's cage is dead set on having Temari wed the second son. Why not the first son? Asked Temari. The first son is already married, said Gaara. Temari, I can't do anything unless we want to start another war. We can't, said Temari, we are just recovering from Orochimaru's attack and Akatsuki's attack. We can afford another war right now. We need more time to recuperate, just like Konoha needs to, and that's what Iwa knows. I have no choice, I'll marry the bastard's son. Alright, you'll be leaving on Monday, sighed Gaara. Understood, said Temari. You are both dismissed, said Gaara. Kankuro left the room a bit angry and Temari was silent as she walked out. Once they were gone, Gaara told the guards not to bother him for a few minutes. Gaara sat in his seat staring outside at the desert, sighing. Temari will soon be gone. At the Yamanaka flower shop, back in Konoha, Ino was having a fit. Now one would think that a nearly 18-year-old girl would stop the temper tantrums, but she, at this moment, has every right to be throwing a fit. Ino was not happy, obviously. But she has never been this angry before in her life, not when Sakura threw their friendship away, not when Shikamaru broke her heart to pine away for Temari, and not when Sai told her that he didn't think that she was beautiful, but of course his opinion about that in a few months' time. I can't believe you did this to me, yelled Ino, that probably all of Konoha heard her. Now, sweetie, started Inoichi, sweat dropping. I don't want to do this, cried Ino. I wanted to get married for love. But the strain between Kumo and Konoha relations have been declining lately and they requested that someone from Konoha be married to someone from Kumo, said Inoichi. We have a branch of the Yamanaka clan in Kumo and we thought it would be best. I have no choice, right, said Ino, calming down. Unfortunately, said her father. I'll do it, if it'll help Konoha, said Ino, storming off to her room, mumbling incoherent things. When she reached her room, she collapsed on her bed and cried, something she didn't do since she became a Kunoichi. Sakura and Tenten stood waiting outside Tsunade's office. Sakura and Tenten wondered what was going on. Shizune beckoned them to go inside. The two Kunoichi noticed that Anko, Kurenai, and Yugo were there too. Tsunade-sama, what's to see you two first, said Shizune, and the two went in very confused. Shizune, what's going on? Asked Anko. Shizune looked at her friend and Jsut shook her head. Inside of the office, Sakura and Tenten stood in front of the Godem with curious eyes. Tsunade looked like she has seen better days and this wasn't one of them. Tsunade told them to sit down, they might need to. Tsunade Shisho, what's this about? Asked Sakura. As you know, Iwa isn't on good terms with Konoha or Suna, said Tsunade. They, meaning the cage, has requested that Konoha send a bride for the youngest son and Suna send one for the second son, seeing as how the oldest son is married already. Is one of us the bride? Asked Sakura. The cage picked out of all the eligible Kunoichi you Sakura, said Tsunade. What? Said Sakura. Sakura, let me tell you. Someone from Suna will be there, said Tsunade. Do you know who it is? Asked Sakura. I think the Iwakage picked Temari, but I'm not really sure, said Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, why am I here then? Asked Tenten, trying not to be rude. Ah, yes. Tenten, Kiri and Konoha are not seeing things eye to eye in the fishing market, said Tsunade. Fish is one of our most eaten foods and to gain more access to more seawater they want a Kunoichi to marry the Mizukage, who isn't a old fart just to let you know. He is the new one. I see, said Tenten. We don't have a choice, said Sakura. No you don't. Sakura, you have until Monday to get things together and say any goodbyes, said Tsunade. Tenten, you have until Tuesday to do the same. Dismissed. Sakura left running home to her parents, while Tenten slowly walked to her lonely apartment. Anko, Shizune, Yugo, and Kurenai walked into the office when Tenten and Sakura left. They stood before the Godem and waited for what she had to say. First off, Yugo, your team have fully recovered and you need to meet them first thing in the morning, said Tsunade, telling Yugo to leave. As for you three, we have a trio of Rouge Ninja that need to be taken or of in one of the southern fire country towns. Tsunade handed them a folder of information. I presume that you know what to do. Yes, chorused the three adult Kunoichi. Good, dismissed, said Tsunade. It was Saturday night. Hinata had heard about Ino, Sakura and Tenten leaving to go get married to men they never met. Hinata thought that she was lucky that she got to stay in Konoha. Hinata was making something for her friends before they left Hinata's side and knew that this would be hard. She was losing her best friends, and what's worse, they probably won't join the Junin exams that they trained so hard for. Hinata, don't worry, said Hanabi, her younger sister entering the future head's room. Sakura, Tenten and Ino are strong, they'll be fine. I know I'll just miss them, said Hinata. They had spent a lot of time over the years together and helped Hinata come out of her shell. They trained together, ate together, and told each other mostly everything, and Hinata would miss it. Hinata sighed and continued with her project, with her sister staring at her with worry. Kunoichi had told Ino that she leaves on Wednesday, the day after Tenten left. Ino was packing some things now. She would have to tell her friends goodbye. Her team, the girls, the guys, and especially sighed and folded another shirt. There was a knock at her door. It was Shikamaru of all people. Shikamaru, asked Ino, shocked. Ino, we heard that you'll be leaving, said Shikamaru. He looked upset actually. So Choji, Asuma-sensei, and I decided that we'll treat you to some barbecue for old time's sake. Shikamaru, said Ino, never realizing how her team cared about her, thank you. I'll be right down. She was going to truly miss them. Tenten sat at her quiet, lonely apartment. She knew that Lee and Guy would be over soon crying about how they'll miss her and such. She really appreciated, however, she didn't know if he even care. They trained every day of their genin lives together and until Neji became a Junin. As she predicated, there was loud knock at her door. She opened it to reveal Guy, Lee and almost surprisingly Neji, as well. Our dear Tenten, we have heard the news, said Guy, not shouting actually, and we are proud of you for being so self-sacrificing for Konoha. So we are going out to your favorite Chinese food restaurant. Well, almost not shouting. Really, said Tenten, having not eaten at her favorite place in a while. Of course Tenten, said Lee. Ah, replied Neji, a typical answer for him. Let's go then, said Tenten, excited. Her teammates, well Guy and Lee at least, beamed a smile at her. Neji gave one of those smiles that wasn't quite a full one. Sakura told her parents and they were less than thrilled. Sakura's mom cried and her father shouted some curses. Sakura's older sister was not happy either, but she didn't say anything except that she better be careful. Sakura knew where to go next after leaving her house, the memorial stone, to find Kakashi. When she got there, Kakashi was standing looking at the stone. Sakura, said Kakashi. Kaka-sensei, said Sakura. How are you dealing with this? Asked Kakashi. Alright, replied Sakura. Have you told Sasuke yet? Asked Kakashi. No. Sakura, what about Naruto? Said Kakashi. He's off training with Jiraiya-sama and Yamato-san for the next year, sighed Sakura. Sakura, it's okay, said Kakashi. Sakura suddenly burst into tears and latched onto her sensei. Kakashi patted Sakura's head and told her that it's alright to cry sometimes. Anko, Kurenai, and Shizune were leaving for the mission. They would probably be back the next day, if it was easy as the file said. Kurenai had left Asuma, her husband. Yes, they finally got married. Anko had left her boyfriend, Iruka. Shizune left Kakashi, her boyfriend, who she would know he'd be busy comforting Sakura. We better hurry, so we can see the girls off, said Anko. Ah, replied Kurenai and Shizune. And the three Junin women were off into the night. When Team 10 got to the barbecue place, Ibiki was waiting there. Ino was in shock to see her sensei there and not working on cracking the latest case. Ino, don't look so surprised, said Ibiki, you're my student and I'm very upset to lose you as a student. Can we eat now? Asked Choji. Ino giggled at her friend, who never changed. Shikamaru sighed and walked into the restaurant, followed by Asuma, Choji, and Ibiki. Ino smiled the first time since she found out about her marriage and followed in after her friends. After the barbecue dinner, Ino actually ate a lot. She figured that it would be the last time to eat there, so why not eat her fill? Ibiki left after he ate to go back, just like Ino figured. Shikamaru fell asleep after he ate and Asuma took him home. Choji was still eating when Ino told him that she was going home to get some rest. Be careful, Ino, said Choji. Ah, I will, said Ino. Halfway down the block away from the food place, someone tapped her on her shoulder. Ino yelped. Well, hello there, said the voice of Sai. Sai, You scared me, why don't you confront people normally, sighed Ino. Relax, I'm sorry alright. I heard that you are getting married and leaving for Kumo on Wednesday, said Sai. Did Tsunade-sama tell you, asked Ino. That and I heard your big mouth screaming from Ichiraku, said Sai. I didn't scream that loud, huffed Ino. Meh, chill alright, said Sai. Do you need help packing your stuff? Are you offering to help? Ah, come over tomorrow and you can help, said Ino. Let me walk you home, since you are so jumpy, said Sai. Fine, said Ino, let's go, I need to get some beauty sleep. And you do need it, said Sai. Sai, Ino yelled as Sai smiled in his freaky way and it just made her anger worse. Tenten ate a few plates of her favorite food, while Lee challenged Neji, who won anyway, to see who could eat more. Guy cried proudly at Lee's antics. Tenten was smiling the whole time. But in the back of her mind she knew this would most likely be the last time she would be able to do this with her teammates. Neji, why don't you walk our lovable flower ten home, yelled Guy. I really don't, and in an instant both Lee and Guy were gone, leaving Neji and Tenten. Come on, I'll walk you home, said Neji, walking off in the direction of her apartment. Coming, said Tenten, running to catch up with her teammate. Sometime later when everything was silent. Tenten, when you leave please be careful, said Neji. I will, Neji, said Tenten. Hinata-sama is worried for you, said Neji. Ah, I know. But she shouldn't worry, said Tenten, I'm a big girl and can take care of myself. She's going to miss you, said Neji. And what about you, asked Tenten, will you miss me? Ah, I will, said Neji. You aren't just saying that, right, asked Tenten. No, I'm not, said Neji, looking directly at Tenten. You are my teammate and friend and of course I'll miss you. Never think otherwise. Okay, said Tenten, we are back at my apartment. I'll come over to help you pack tomorrow, said Neji, disappearing. That's Neji for you, sighed Tenten. Sakura left Kakashi, after crying her eyes out and headed to go visit Sasuke. Sakura walked in the direction of the Uchiha compound. When she got there the Anbu team watching over Sasuke appeared before her. Anbu-san, said Sakura, I need to talk to Sasuke-kun. I need your verification card, said the Anbu. Sakura handed him the card. You have in half an hour. Thanks, said Sakura. She entered the house. Sasuke-kun, I need to talk to you. No answer. Are you in your room? Again no answer. I'm coming in. Sakura entered Sasuke's room. As usual since he returned he stares at the wall every day and does nothing else. But when Sakura entered, he looked at her for a brief moment. He's been like this since he killed Itachi, never saying a word, staring endless at the wall and looking soulless. Sasuke-kun, I'm leaving the village on Monday, said Sakura. I'm getting married to the youngest son of the Tsuchikage. No answer once again. I just wanted to tell you, since I won't be able to visit you anymore. I wish you luck in dealing what you need to deal with. No answer. Goodbye, Sasuke-kun. Remember Naruto will be back in a year. Sakura was going to leave when Sasuke actually spoke to her in months, actually since he came back. Sakura, said Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, questioned Sakura. Don't leave, said Sasuke, he sounded helpless. Not like Itachi did, not like my family did, not like Naruto did. Sasuke-kun, Naruto is going to be coming back. But you are not. That's right, but I can still write to you hopefully. You are marrying someone that is not the person you love. Naruto, you should be with him, Sakura. Sasuke-kun, I had to do this for the village. You have been crying again, said Sasuke, being truthful. I never liked it when you cried. I'll be fine, Sasuke-kun, said Sakura, with a heartbreaking smile. Sakura. Sasuke-kun, said Sakura. She walked over to where he was lying. Mind you, he didn't move when he was talking, only to look at her. Sakura hugged Sasuke. He didn't push her away, and he hesitantly hugged her back for the first time. And at that moment Sakura began crying again, which Sasuke to hold on to her tighter, and to anyone's surprise he began crying too. He cried for his family, Itachi, his brother, not the thing he became, Naruto and Sakura. The Anbu outside watched the two. One of the Anbu members, which was Yugo, knew that they needed this. And the whole team turned away to give them a moment. In Suna, the Sand siblings were sitting down eating dinner. They sat at a round table in silence, eating. Tamari was quiet, unusually, as was Kankuro. Gaara was always silent, but more so than usual. Tamari, I'll do the dishes tonight, said Kankuro. "Oh thank you," said Tamari, shocked a bit. Konkuru never offered to do the housework. "No problem," said Konkuru. "You are being unusually nice today," commented Tamari. "Can't I be nice to my siblings?" said Konkuru. "You can, it's just odd," said Tamari. "I wouldn't about it Tamari," said Gara, finally talking. "If you say so," said Tamari, getting up to clear off the plates. "I said I'll do that," said Konkuru. "Alright, I'm going to take a shower," said Tamari, handing the plate to Konkuru and going up the stairs. "Konkuru," said Gara. "Yeah, I'll miss her too." "Yeah, I better get the dishes done," said Konkuru. Gara sighed and headed back to his office. His only breaks was for lunch and dinner, back to being the case cage. Hinata was staring at herself in front of the mirror. Today was the Sunday dinner in which she will meet her wore a light purple kimono and tried to prepare herself. She breathed in and out a few times and then sighed. It was now or never. "Hinata-sama," said Neji, knocking on the door. Neji was dressed in his normal ninja clothes. The ones from the time skip obviously. "Yes, Neji," asked Hinata. "You are ready I presume?" asked Neji. "As I'll ever be," said Hinata. "Let's go down," said Neji. Hanabi was waiting at the top of the stairs for the two of was dressed in a red kimono and she rather looked like she wants to go to somewhere else. "Meh, let's get this thing over with," said Hanabi. The three walked into the giant dining room. This was a basically private event. Only the head, the council, who are a bunch of old geezers, the heiress, any siblings of the heiress, and the protector of the heiress were they representing the Hyuga. So in other words Hiyashi, Hinata, Hanabi, Neji and the old men were there. From the other family was the head, his wife and children. "Ah, my daughters and nephew have come down," said Hiyashi. The four other people there were from one of the Wind Country's other towns. Not oldest man there seemed as old as Hiyashi. He had dark brown hair and green eyes. The only other woman there seemed a few years younger than her husband and she wore a blue kimono. "She has blonde hair and brown eyes. Welcome to our home," chorused the three Hyuga children. "Hinata, this man right here is Higa Akihito and his wife Higa Akemi," introduced Hiyashi. "And their two sons. The older one is Higa Bunzo, and the youngest one is Higa Washi. Washi-kun is your fiancé Hinata. The older son, as Hiyashi said, is Bunzo. His looks exactly like his father, but a younger Verizon of course. The younger one is Washi. He looks like his mother and has a pleasant aura around him." "Nice to meet you Higa Tachi," said Hinata, bowing ever so politely. "Let's them sit and dinner we shall eat," said Hiyashi, with the ever so stern face he always has on. During dinner they talked polite conversion like commenting on the wonderfully made dinner and such. Of course some things never went smoothly as one liked. Oto, I'm glad I'm not in your shoes. The girl you have to marry looks weak," whispered Bunzo. Whether he realized it or not Hyuga's eyesight wasn't the only thing heightened. Bunzo didn't see the four Hyugas grip their chopsticks harder than necessary. "Aniki, that isn't right to say about someone you just met," reprimanded Washi. "Plus she is supposed to be one of the most skilled Hyugas, just because she's not wearing her ninja gear right now doesn't mean anything." His older brother sorted. Hinata smiled. Washi didn't know her very well, still he defended her from his brother's taunts. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad. Anko, Kurenai, and Shizune have been in this town for nearly a half of day and they couldn't find their targets. Each one picked a guy to dispose of. "Well, I guess we have to wait for the nighttime to go to the bar they like to go as the notes say," said Kurenai. "Then, let's go get ready," said Shizune. The three women sighed and went to the hotel they were staying at to get prepared. By meaning prepared, getting dressed and have the weapons hidden properly. While they got ready they finished memorizing everything about their targets. Goto Ryu was Anko's target. He is a chunin, muscular and has dark hair and eyes. Abe Yukio was Kurenai's target. He is a chunin like his accomplice and has light hair and eyes. Ono Doi was Shizune's target. He is a chunin like the other two and has dark hair and light eyes. The three of them weren't bad looking, but they liked to raid stores and steal farmers' crops to sell to profit for themselves and the price too high for the buyers. They tend to be out at the bar at night, otherwise they are hard to track down. As the sun set, the three females were ready. Kurenai was wearing a red dress, Anko was wearing a black dress, and Shizune was wearing a dark navy blue dress. They had concealed weapons to do their job properly. It's not like they could just kill them, it's just they didn't need any problems for Konoha. Plus they are ninjas, they did things secretly. You two ready? Asked Anko. Yeah, replied Kurenai and Shizune. Let's go, said Anko. The trip to the local bar wasn't too hard, but they were getting glances from men already drunk in which they glared at them full force. We'll separate and meet back at the hotel, said Kurenai. Good luck, said Shizune. We won't need it, said Anko. Ah, said Kurenai, later. Kurenai went off into the crowd. Shizune went off into the crowd, and then so did Anko. Kurenai wandered around the bar to see if she could spot her target. Having no luck, Kurenai ordered a water and scanned the crowd once again. She sighed. This is so troublesome, as in the words of Shikamaru, sighed Kurenai. Kurenai waited 10 minutes when the bartender gave her another drink. I didn't order this. I know, the gentleman over there did, said the bartender, pointing directly at a man, who luckily is her target. Yukio winked at Kurenai, who smiled. Time to play her part. This really did suck for her, because she was married and this felt so wrong to her. Kurenai walked up to Yukio. So little lady, how about you come home with me tonight? Asked the man, cheekily. Kurenai decided that she would have a nice time killing this man. I don't even know your name, said Kurenai, in a teasing voice. Yukio, dear, he said. And what about yourself? Nana, said Kurenai. She had to use a fake name, obviously, since she is quite known in the fire country. Do you want another drink? Asked the man. Kurenai knew he wouldn't dare bring her back to his place until she was wasted. Time to begin her acting. Back at the Hyuga Manor with the little dinner party. Akihito and Hiyashi were talking, while Neji was glaring at Bunzo. Akemi was trying to talk to Hanabi, who remained stoic. Hinata watched her family with some amusement. Hinata watched as Washi walked outside, as if he really wanted to get away. Hinata knew that no one was watching, so she followed him. She wanted to thank him for defending her before. Little did she know Akihito and Hiyashi were talking. I told you that would work, said Hiyashi. Damn you, said Akihito. Ah, yes, I hear that often, said Hiyashi. You must thank Bunzo-kun for doing that for our ploy to at least make them friends. Ah, I will, replied Akihito. Meanwhile outside, Hinata and Washi were having a staring contest unintentionally. When Hinata walked outside after Washi, they just stared at each other. Yo, grinned Washi. Hi, I wanted to thank you for defending me earlier, said Hinata. You heard that? Asked Washi, not realizing that she heard the conversation. Ah, as ninja we need excellent senses, said Hinata. Aren't you not the least upset? Asked Washi. No, I'm used to being called that. But I'm not really weak anymore, said Hinata. My friends helped me. You probably weren't weak, it's just that you thought you were, commented Washi. I was weak, said Hinata. Physically maybe, everyone is at first, said Washi. But mentally you thought you were weak, so you were probably unconsciously holding yourself back. How do you know all this? Asked Hinata. I'm a psychologist, replied Washi, grinning. Oh no, you didn't get offended that I analyzed you. It's a habit when I meet a new person. Oh, that's fine really, said Hinata. I never really thought of it that way. So, since we are going to be married in 10 months, said Washi, why don't we be friends at least? Washi stuck out his hand for her to shake. Ah, that would be good, said Hinata, shaking the blonde hair boy's hand. Back in the little town bar. Anko finally after an half-hour found her target among a bunch of drunk-ass women. Anko twitched. There is always some way to make things even harder for the snake woman. Anko winked at Ryu and almost immediately the man jumped over to Anko, leaving the other women alone. Find something interesting, hun, said Ryu. Why yes you silly, giggled Anko. You know when she giggles something is up, but of course this man didn't know this. What's your name sweetheart? Coco, replied Anko, obviously using her fake name. And mine's Ryu. If we can go now, my friends won't interrupt us, grinned Ryu, perversely. Anko grinned oddly and didn't know this would be that easy to get this man wrapped around her little finger. That sounds lovely, replied Anko. Ryu took her by the hand and began leading her out. At Sakura's house back in Konoha, Tenten, Ino and Sakura were in her room. They were brooding about what happened to them. I can't believe you have to leave tomorrow, cried Ino. I wish Hinata was here, complained Sakura. She's meeting her betrothed, sighed Tenten. Let's go get here then, said Sakura. Like ask her to sneak out, asked Tenten. Didn't we try that last year, asked Ino. But come on, her father would understand, said Sakura. It's our last night with the four of us together. Yeah, let's do it, exclaimed Tenten. So, the three of them ran on the rooftops to get to the Hyuga manor. Sneaking in will not be easy with so many Hyugas there. Inside, one of the guards informed Hiyashi that Hinata's friends were here. Hiyashi decided that he would let Hinata leave this time, seeing as how she'll probably never see them again. Hiyashi told the guard to leave them be. "Hiyashi-sama, they are here aren't they?" whispered Neji. "Yes," said Hiyashi. Outside, the three couldn't believe they actually got into the Hyuga compound. But they didn't know that they were detected but let slide by. "Hinata," whispered Sakura loudly up to the balcony. Washi and Hinata looked down to see one pink head, one brown head and one blonde head. "Sakura, Ino, Tenten," asked Hinata, "what are you doing here and how did you get in?" "Friends of yours I presume," asked Washi. Hinata nodded. "Come out with us," said Tenten. "It's the last night all four of us will be in Konoha together," said Ino. "But," started Hinata. "Hinata-san, I think you should go." "I'll cover for you," said Washi. "I can't ask you do that," protested Hinata. "You didn't ask. Now go and be with your friends," said Washi. Hinata nodded and easily jumped down to where her friends were. Hopefully Washi would be able to convince her father that she was fine and home. "Hiyashi-sama, your daughter went for a walk around the gardens to clear her head," said Washi, going back into the house. "Is that so?" said Hiyashi, knowing full well he was lying. "Indeed, sir." Shizune, after an hour of waiting, saw no sign of her target, Doi. But as luck has it, she spotted him at the bar, drunk off his ass and by himself no less. Shizune smiled and knew it was time to go in her ninja acting mode. "You're looking a little lonely there," said Shizune, flirting with Doi. She sat right next to him and looked at him. "Hey there, pretty lady," slurred the man. "What's your name?" asked Shizune. "Doi, and I request yours," said Doi. "Umi," replied Shizune. Shizune twitched internally at what she was about to do. "How about I go to your place and have some real fun, then staying here?" "Hell." Hiccup. "Yeah," said Doi, grabbing her arm away into the night. In Suna, Keisuke Gaara sat on the roof of his house thinking when he heard the footsteps of his sister. He memorized both his siblings' footsteps as to not accidentally attack them. "Gaara, are you alright?" asked Tamari. "I'm fine, but are you?" asked Gaara. "You should be sleeping, you have to leave tomorrow." "I know, but I can't sleep," said Tamari. "Ah, you should at least try," said Gaara. Tamari stared blankly at him. "I'm worried," said Tamari, suddenly. "About? You and Konkuru when I leave." "Tamari, we aren't children anymore, Konkuru, and I can perfectly take care of ourselves." "But who is going to cook, clean and make sure there is food in the house?" "I can hire the genin to go food shopping for us. I'll learn how to cook and Konkuru will clean." "You always worry about us." "I'm supposed to worry. I'm your older sister." "Tamari, we are the reason why you aren't in Konoha right now with Shikamaru." "What? How? I'm not Keisuke for nothing, you know. You are so worried about us, that you missed your chance on happiness with the person that you want to be with." "Gaara, you're sure talking a lot. I needed to get the message across with words this time." "Gaara, thanks," said Tamari, running off. "Where the hell is she going so late at night?" asked Gaara out loud. Tamari went to the attic of their house where they kept a carrier bird. She was going to write a letter to Shikamaru, a final one that is. Kurenai, Anko, and Shizune met at the hotel and got their stuff quickly to head back home. The mission was a success, surely no one would miss those guys. Right now the three were more concerned to get back to Konoha before Sakura departed in the morning. "No one hurt?" asked Shizune, when they were far away from the town. "I'm fine," said Anko. "Me too," replied Kurenai. "Ah, good," said Shizune. "I hope we have the time to take a shower when we get back, before we see Sakura off." "I know I reek of blood," complained Kurenai. "It's not so bad," said Anko. "Yeah right," said Kurenai. Okay, don't start a fight," said Shizune. "Yeah, we'll give our position away if there are any rouges or other village," said Anko. "Okay, no more talking then," said Shizune. The three were silent for the rest of the way back to Konoha. It was 5 in the morning in Suna. Gaara obviously up all night so he is awake, Konkuru half asleep and Tamari was alright. Tamari hugged both her brothers in a bear hug, in which they couldn't breathe. "I'll miss you guys," said Tamari, "don't kill each other and look." "For the love of Kami Tamari, we are going to be fine," said Konkuru, waking up to yell at his older sister. "I know," said Tamari, sadly. "Don't worry and good luck," said Konkuru. I'll try to keep in touch, said Tamari. Ah, said Gaara. Tamari-sama, hurry up or we are going to be late arriving, said one of the Anbu that was escorting her. Only the best would bring Tamari to her future husband, was Gaara's reasoning for using the Anbu. Well, 2 of Anbu are waiting outside the gate to escort me over there, said Tamari. The 2 brothers hugged their sister one final time. Will you be at the wedding? Most likely, said Gaara, so we'll see you then, okay? Bye, said Tamari, looking ready to cry. Forget the ninja rule that they can't cry. Tamari was leaving her brothers, even though she'll see them again in a few months at her wedding to some guy she has never met and probably won't like. Later, said Kankuru, Aneki. Bye, said Gaara, Aneki. That made Tamari nearly cry. Kankuru rarely called her Aneki, big sister, and that was the first time Gaara ever called her that. She really was going to miss them. Off Tamari went with her Anbu escorts. Kankuru and Gaara watched as their sister disappeared in the desert. I'm going home back to sleep, said Kankuru. I'm going to the office, said Gaara. The 2 looked at each other and sighed. One went home and the other to the office. This was going to take some getting used to. It was 5 in the morning in Konoha. Sakura stood at the front gate of Konoha and looked at all her friends. Kurenai, Anko, and Shizune showed up 10 minutes ago back from their mission. Tsunade, Hinata, Ino, Tenten, Lee, Guy, Kakashi, Sai, Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, Shino, Neji, Asuma, and Iruka were there at the gate. Sakura wasn't surprised that Sasuke didn't show up. Her parents and her sister were there as well. Sakura, said her sister, don't get into any trouble. I told you stop saying my name that, growled Sakura. Be careful, chorused her parents. The family hugged and it was all sweet and stuff. Ino, Hinata, and Tenten all hugged Sakura. Hinata handed Sakura a package and told her not to open it until she reached her destination. I'll miss you, said Kakashi, giving his female student a hug. Bye, said Sakura. It's too troublesome to say goodbye, sighed Shikamaru. Bye Sakura. Have a safe trip, said Choji. Good luck, said Kiba. Akamaru barking. I wish you well, said Shino. Sakura, cried Lee and Guy. Ignore them, said Neji. Goodbye Sakura. Be careful, said Asuma. Try to enjoy yourself, said Iruka. I would hug you but I smell, said Shizune. Goodbye. Me too, said Kurenai and Anko. Behave yourself Sakura, said Kurenai. Have some fun, said Anko. Sakura, said Tsunade. You are a Kunoichi with great promise. Don't forget where you came from and who taught things in life. Continue training, even though you won't be a part of Konoha physically. You shall always remain in Konoha through your spirit. Thank you Tsunade Shisho, said Sakura. Tsunade hugged Sakura as a mother would a daughter. 2 Anbu appeared in front of the group. Are you ready Sakura-san, said one of the Anbu. As I'll ever be, said Sakura. Bye everyone, said Sakura. Wait, said Sasuke, running to get to the group. He had an item in his hand. Sasuke-kun, asked Sakura. Everyone didn't even know Sasuke was out of his trance. Here, said Sasuke, shoving something in her hands. Open it later. Thank you Sasuke-kun, said Sakura. Then would you give this to Naruto when he comes back? She gave Sasuke a letter to hold for Naruto. Ah, be careful, said Sasuke, pulling Sakura in an embrace. Jaws dropped at this sight. Sasuke really must have changed for him to actually do that in public. Sakura ne-chan. Sakura's eyes widened and a giant smile was on her face. Goodbye Sasuke Otuto-san, said Sakura. Goodbye everyone. And with that the people there watched as the pink-haired Kunoichi disappear in the forest. I'm going home, said Shikamaru and was followed by others. I'm have to get in the shower, said Kurenai, going home with Asuma. Anko ran home to get a shower, and so did Shizune. Kakashi and Iruka followed them. Sai walked Ino home. Hinata, Neji and Tenten went off to the Hyuga Manor. In the next 10 minutes everyone who was left was Tsunade, Sasuke, and Sakura's family. So, Sasuke, said Sakura's sister, could I call you Sasuke Otuto-san too? The older girl ruffled Sasuke's hair teasingly. Don't bother him dear, said the mother of Sakura, come on home now. Good day to you Hokage-sama and Sasuke-san. Come on my dear eldest child, said the father. And with that Sakura's family were heading back home. So, Sasuke, said Tsunade, were you ever going to let me know that you were better? I don't know, isn't that the ANBU's job, said Sasuke. I'm heading home, Hokage-sama. Alright, said Tsunade, and with one final look at the gate, the Godem headed to the Hokage Tower. It was 5 morning the following day. Today was the day that Tenten left. Everyone was there, except Sakura's family obviously, hell even Sasuke was there. Good luck Tenten, said the senseis. Our youthful flower Tenten is leaving, cried Guy and Lee, hugging on a scared Tenten. Guy sensei, Lee, let her breathe, said Neji. Bye Tenten, cried Ino, giving her a hug. Here Tenten, said Hinata, handing her a package similar to the one she gave Sakura yesterday. Be careful. Troublesome people waking me up this early, said Shikamaru. Bye Tenten. Have a good trip, said Choji. I wish you luck Tenten, said Shino. Later Tenten, said Kiba. Akamaru barked in agreement. My student, continue your training, said Anko. Ah, I will, said Tenten. Try to have fun, said Iruka. Be safe, said Shizune. Good luck, said Kurenai. Write us about that new Mizukage, said Kakashi. I hope you brought all your weapons, said Asuma. We bought you something, said Neji, handing her a wrapped gift that looked like a new weapon. We'll open it. Tenten opened the gift to see the best katana she has ever seen in her life. How much did this cost? Asked Tenten. Don't worry, everyone chipped in to buy it, said Lee. Technically we paid someone to make it specially for you, said Ino. You guys are the best. I'll treasure it forever, said Tenten. Tenten, you are the most experienced as using weapons. Never stop your deadly accuracy and love of weapons, said Tsunade, and I'm sure one day you'll achieve your dream. You will be missed greatly. Tenten, said Neji, I'll miss our spars. And so will I, said Tenten. Tenten-san, we are ready, said the Anbu. Yeah, bye everyone, said Tenten, I'm going to miss Konoha so much. And with that Tenten and the Anbu were gone. As people dispersed, the only ones left was Tsunade, Neji, and Hinata. Neji, are you alright? Asked Tsunade. I'm fine, Hokage-sama, replied Neji. Are you sure? Asked Hinata. Yes, now let's go home Hinata-sama, said Neji. Tsunade sighed and told herself that this was best for the Kunoichi and Konoha. With one final look at the gate she headed home to take a shower. It was 5 morning the following day in Konoha. Today was the day Ino left. Everyone, of course with no Sakura or Tenten, was there, including Ibiki, who decided to show up for his student, the old Ino Shika Cho group and their wives. Now remember all the things I taught you, said Ibiki. I will, said Ino. Ino, I'm going to miss you, said Hinata, hugging her friend and then giving her a gift. My poor baby, said Ino's mother, hugging her child. Mom, said Ino, embarrassed. Now don't worry, our little Ino is strong, said Inoichi. I'm not little, grumbled Ino. So Miss Beautiful, this is where we say goodbye, said Sai, handing her a piece of paper. It was picture of everyone important to her. I gave Naruto something similar for his birthday, but the only difference is yours has more people. Thank you, said Ino. Ino, don't be rash about anything, said Shikamaru. Man, tomorrow I'm sleeping in. Here you go Ino, said Choji, handing her a small bag of barbecue-flavored potato chips. Thank you Choji, Shikamaru, said Ino, hugging her teammates. Good luck Ino, said Asuma, patting Ino on the head. I'm not a dog, pouted Ino, not a word Sai. Sai was about to say something but she caught him just in time. Good luck Ino, said Kurenai. Now Ino's leaving, cried Guy and Lee. Oh boy, said Kakashi, good luck Ino. Have some fun, said Anko. I wish you luck, said Shino. Try not to annoy the guy to death, commented Kiba. Akamaru yipped. I'm not that annoying, said Ino, angrily. She's not that annoying, said Neji, just too loud sometimes. Whoa, Neji defended Ino, that's a first, said Sasuke. People stared at him talking, what, I'm not mute anymore. Whatever, sighed Shika. He really wanted to be back in bed sleeping. Well, Ino, this is it, said Tsunade. You are very strong-minded and willed and we are all going to miss you. Ah, thank you. Don't forget me, said Ino, bye. Yo Anbu, let's go. Everyone's sweat dropped at the antics of the blonde girl. Everyone left to go home to sleep or train or whatever they did in the morning. Everyone but Tsunade, Sai, and Inoichi were left. She's a good kid, sighed Inoichi. She'll be fine, and can take care of herself, said Sai. You know lying is not good, said Tsunade. You're both very worried about her. Not really, said Sai, I'm going home to sleep. She can handle it, said Kunoichi, heading home himself. Liars, sighed Tsunade. Well, that's the last one. Konoha lost such good Kunoichi, but I know they will be fine. I need to contact the case cage today. Back to work I go. Tsunade looked at the forest and headed to the office. Haruno Sakura finally made it to Iwagakure no Sato in 5 days. Sakura's trip was simple and no one bothered was prepared for anything at this point. She was going to be married and not to Naruto, the place where her heart is. It won't matter now, thought Sakura bitterly. He's away. If he was in Konoha he would have no let any of us go. Sakura shook her head and told herself not to think of what ifs anymore. Sakura, asked a very recognizable voice of Temari. Temari, asked Sakura, relieved to see a familiar face. The Anbu left her at the gate to head back home. Temari made it to Iwagakure in 5 days as well. Her group ran into some trouble, but since they took a detour after that it took longer than the usual 3 days to get to Iwa from Suna. Temari, the whole time there was thinking of her brothers and Shikamaru. Che, like he would care. Thought Temari. I'm glad to see someone I know, said Sakura. I guess you're the one to marry the second son. Yeah, replied Temari, and you have to marry the youngest son. Yeah, said Sakura. It seems that the 2 brides from Konoha and Suna know each other, said a male voice. I'm Fujikage Fumihiro, the eldest son of Fujikage Fumayaki, the Tsuchikage. And you must be Haruno Sakura, Chunin from Konohagakure, and Temari, Junin from Sanagakure. This man, looked about in his early 20s, has black hair and brown eyes. Nice to meet you, said Sakura and Temari at the same time. My father couldn't come out to greet you too since he came down with a cold, explained Fumihiro. Our medics aren't that good. So I'll bring you 2 up to the mansion. I could take a look at Tsuchikage-sama, said Sakura. I'm a medic after all. No, said Fumihiro, let him be sick, it shuts him up. You see, my father has a big mouth for complaining about every single thing and frankly it annoys me. Well, then, said Temari, should we get going? Let's, he said, I feel bad for you girls. Fumihiro sighed and walked ahead of them. Why? Because we have to get married to your brothers, asked Sakura. That and you shouldn't even be here right now, explained Fumihiro. My father thinks that since those guys Konkuru and Kiba took down some of our Anbu, which they had every right to, that Iwa was beginning to look bad to the lord of the country. So, in other words, getting Konoha and Suna to agree to send brides over to you guys is to make you guys look better, asked Temari, stunned. Yeah, I told my father that we should improve the academy and train our already ninjas harder, sighed Fumihiro. I'm sorry that you came here for a stupid reason. That's not what my brother the case cage was told, said Temari, not looking too happy. Nor my teacher, the Hokage, said Sakura, also not happy. Let me tell you right now, said Fumihiro, there are things in this country that are really going to make you mad. You know the Yondaime Hokage and the Sandaime case cage, well they is hated here as is the legendary Sanin. They finally arrived at the Tsuchikage manor. I can see Orochimaru, but Tsunade Shisho, Jiraiya-sama, and Yondaime-sama aren't bad, snapped Sakura. Neither is the Sandaime case cage-sama, sighed Temari. Yeah, well, said Fumihiro, I probably won't see much of you 2 girls, but if you need anything to know about the village, feel free to locate me in the mansion. You can call me Hiro. Go up these stairs and you'll meet my father. Good luck. Hiro pointed to the stairwell and the girls nodded. Thanks, said Sakura. Yes, thanks, said and Temari exchanged looks at each other and walked up the stairs side by side. Yamanaka Ino made it to Kumogakure no Sato in 4 days, because she made the Anbu stop less than normal. Ino wanted to get there as fast as possible because she wanted to get away from Konoha before she changed her mind. This is for the best I suppose, thought Ino. When she had arrived she was greeted by her future in-laws and current family. Ino knew of them, since her father told her of them. Yamanaka Hikaru, 3rd cousin to Kunoichi, 4th cousin to Ino, is the head of the Yamanaka clan in Kumo. His wife is Yamanaka Hisako, who is 5th cousin to Kunoichi and 6th to Ino. Their only son is Yamanaka Hyotaru, which makes him 3rd cousin once removed or something like that. I think you get the idea. Are you Yamanaka Ino? Asked a girl that was at the gate. This girl has long black hair and brown hair. Yes, and you are? Asked Ino. I'm Hino Hoshiko, answered the girl. I'm Hyotaru's best friend and ninja partner. His parents asked me to come and get you while they get everything ready. Nice to meet you, Hino-san, said Ino. No need for formalities, said Hoshiko, I mean you are going to be my best friend's wife. So I think we should become friends too. Okay then Hoshiko-chan, said Ino, so, let's going shall we? Yeah, said Hoshiko, follow me. Ino and Hoshiko walked down the town where people greeted Hoshiko with great vigor. You must be really popular and famous here, commented Ino. Yeah, in Lightning Country Hyotaru and I are known as the Double Trouble Pair, said Hoshiko. I know bad name, but we're famous and loved here. Hoshiko and Ino kept walking until they reached a flower shop similar to the one she helped run in Konoha. Hyotaru, get out here now. Why the hell are you snappy? Asked Hyotaru, coming out from the back. Oh, you must be Ino. I'm Hyotaru. Hyotaru was indeed very good looking. He has short blonde hair and blue eyes. Nice to meet you, said Ino. My parents are coming out in a moment, said Hyotaru. As soon as he said that, his parents bounded out and were very bouncy happy. Hikaru and Hisako both had blonde hair and blue eyes. Welcome, said Hisako, with a bubbly voice. Indeed welcome, said Hikaru, somewhat calmer, but you could tell he was happy. Ino didn't know why they were so freaking happy that she was here. I'm related to nutcases, thought Ino. Nice to meet you, said Ino, politely as possible without laughing at her future in-laws. Come, we are having lunch, said Hikaru. Hisako began dragging Ino into the living space. Hyotaru seemed to be embarrassed by his parents and followed. Hoshiko also followed it. Lunch was big. Ino ate very little, which caused Hisako to go in super mother worry mode on Ino. Ino looked around the house and realized that this was just like at home, but a different feel to it. She still doesn't know if she would fit in with the other people around the town, but seeing as Hyotaru and Hoshiko are famous, Ino doesn't think she'll have any problems. Anyway, Hyotaru, we have a mission tomorrow, remember, said Hoshiko. I remember, sighed Hyotaru. Ah, and I wanted you and Ino to get to know each other, pouted Hisako, but we can wait until you come home from the mission. Yes, and until then your mother and I will keep poor Ino company, said Hikaru. Ino was getting angry with the way they were acting. She wasn't someone who needed to be watched like a dog or anything. I seriously can't be anyway related to these people. Ino sighed and tried to relax her mind. So Ino dear, said Hisako, why don't you tell us about Konoha and then you could go unpack. Ino twitched internally. This was going to boring. Tenten was not one for boats really. She was seasick the whole way to Kirigakure no Sato. When she got there, Tenten vowed to avoid all boats while here for the rest of her life. Tenten was at the front gate of the country waiting for someone to pick her up. The Anbu had left on another boat on the way back to Konoha, leaving her to wait. Whoever was supposed to pick her up was 2 hours late and Tenten was getting annoyed. She had to get something to eat soon too. Are you Yukito Tenten? Asked a female who walked up to her. Tenten nodded her response. This woman had to be in at least her mid-20s. She has shoulder-length black hair and hazel eyes. I'm Hitori Higoshi, the advisor to the Mizukage Hoshino Haruki-sama. I'm terribly sorry I'm late. It seems that Mizukage-sama forgot where he placed the Mizukage robes. Tenten's sweat dropped. Sounds like something Naruto would do. Losing the Mizukage robes really now. Nice to meet you. Good, said Higoshi, follow me to the tower, please. Along Teiwade Tenten heard the woman curse the Mizukage and his forgetfulness. Tenten was sure that she was in the presence of a crazy person. Sure, Lee and Guy were crazy, but she was used to them, and so was Neji a little bit, which is a complete understatement, but she was in a whole new village and not knowing anybody. Higoshi, you're late, said a male voice of the Mizukage. You are the one who made me late, shithead, snapped Higoshi. It's Mizukage-sama, grinned the Mizukage. You must be Tenten. I'm sorry that you had to wait so long for her to come and pick you up. You must excuse her. What the hell are you talking about? Yelled Higoshi. It's your damn fault in the first place. Please ignore her, Tenten-san. I'm Hoshino Haruki, the Yondaime Mizukage, explained the guy. He was the Mizukage robes. He has white hair and black eyes. The white hair wasn't like a gray color or anything, and he looked quite young too. I'm terribly sorry that you had to marry me. It wasn't my idea. Yeah, the council, snapped Higoshi. Nice to meet you Mizukage-sama, said Tenten, respectfully. She couldn't believe that someone like him was the Mizukage. Call me Haruki, said Mizukage. Now I have to get back to paperwork or I'll fall behind, again. Haruki exited. Oh, and Higoshi take her out to get some food. Thanks buddy. Why you, grumbled Higoshi. What do you want to eat, Tenten-san? Is there any Chinese food places around, asked Tenten. Oh yes, I know just the place, said Higoshi, who began dragging Tenten in the direction of the restaurant. Maybe this place won't be so bad. Back in Konoha in the Hyuga Manor, Hinata was getting a headache the size of Texas. If she saw one more dress or flower selection, she would kill someone. Hinata knew that Washi was feeling the same way. Washi's mother Akemi was in charge of planning the wedding of the two of them. Washi commented before that his mother is crazy when it comes to things like this. Oh, I know how about lilies, exclaimed Akemi. Washi twitched and Hinata sighed. What were they getting themselves into? While Akemi ranted about the different flowers and such, the two of them began whispering to each other to figure a way out of this. We can't just very well ditch your mother Washi, whispered Hinata. But I'm getting hungry. Plus it's not like we need to plan everything in one day, commented Washi. Suddenly Washi got an idea. Mommy. Hinata stared at the guy. Yes, dear, said Akemi. I'm hungry, complained Washi, in a childlike tone. Alright, you and Hinata can leave, said Akemi, pouting, but don't be too long. She shooed them both off. That was genius. But you acted like a child, said Hinata. Yeah, well my mom can't resist my child act, grinned Washi. So do you know any good places to eat? How about Ichiraku ramen, suggested Hinata. Sounds good, said Washi. Now you can tell me about your friends during lunch? Okay, said Hinata. Tamari and Sakura waited to be told to go inside. One of the maids told the two go inside. When they entered, there was a woman who had to be the wife of the Tsuchikage, the Tsuchikage himself and two boys. Welcome to Iwagakure no Sato, said the women. I'm Fujikage Ginko, the wife of Tsuchikage. The said women had black hair and brown eyes like her oldest son. Boys, introduce yourselves. I'm Fujikage Hachiman, age 12, rank genin, said the kid. I'm the third son. The kid had the same hair and eyes as his mother and brother. Nani? Thought both Tamari and Sakura. Meh, said the second guy. I'm Fujikage Jame, age 18, rank chunin. I'm the second son obviously. He had black hair and eyes. So boys, why don't you get to know them? Time to give your father rest, said Ginko, telling them to leave. Which one is Sakura? Asked Hachiman. That's me, said Sakura. Come on, we can go get some lunch, yelled Hachiman, grabbing Sakura's hand and dragging her along with him. Meh, I suppose you are Tamari-san, said Jame. What do you want to do, because I don't really care. Lunch would be good, said Tamari, not liking the guy's attitude. Fine, said Jame, walking out. Hurry up. Tamari glared at the guy's back and followed, for she was hungry. Kurenai sat in her and Asuma's apartment trying to sleeping. I can't stand this. I haven't been able to sleep in days. Normally her missions would bother her much. It was her duty, but then began bringing up other things that she has done before. Kunoichis are born among lies and deceit. Wishes are never to come true and love will always be lost, said Kurenai, reminding herself of something she read once. Just stop thinking, no more thinking of the past. Kurenai, what's the matter? Asked Asuma, coming into their room. Nothing, replied Kurenai. You haven't been sleeping good lately, said Asuma. Don't worry about it, snapped Kurenai. Alright fine, said Asuma, climbing into bed next to her. Kurenai sighed and tried her best not to fall into a nightmare-infested sleep. Anko was washing her hands after making herself something to eat for dinner. Uruka was coming over soon to pick her up to go meet Kakashi and Shizune. While Anko was washing her hands, she began seeing red on them. She wasn't handling any meat, and usually the meat weren't that bloody. She began to vigorously wash her hands to get the blood off. It wasn't coming off. She scrubbed harder, and then there was a knock at the front door. It's open, yelled Anko, from the bathroom. She heard the door open and Uruka asked her if she was alright. She looked at her hands again, but all they were was raw from scrubbing them so hard. Maybe she was going delusional. The last person she killed, she barely got any blood on her. Anko, what's the matter? Asked Uruka from the other side of the door. Nothing, I'll be right out, said Anko, drying off her hands. She opened the door. Uruka was looking at her in worry. I told you I'm fine. Don't worry. Okay, let's go, said Uruka. We have a whole hour to get there, said Anko. Walking around is good, right? Asked Iruka. Hi, said Enko, grabbing Iruka's hand and walked out of her apartment, locking the door behind them. Shizune was in the middle of a shower. Kakashi was taking nap on the couch, because he was tired from the last mission he went on. Shizune just finished washing her hair and took the bar of soap. As she washed, she was beginning to feel very dirty. She washed her stomach extremely rough. Oi, Shizune, are you almost done? I have to go to the bathroom, said Kakashi, knocking on the door. After she heard Kakashi's voice, she snapped out of what she was going. Give me a minute, said Shizune. Alright, I can wait, said Kakashi. She turned off the shower and grabbed a towel to wrap around her. She opened the door to let Kakashi in and walked out to her room to get dressed. What the hell is wrong with me? Asked Shizune to herself. As she got dressed, she thought of why she felt like that. Sakura and Temari sat in the room that they shared. It was quite huge. Sakura thought the boy she had to marry was okay, too young, but cute. Temari was royally annoyed with the guy she had to marry. More annoying than Shikamaru with his troublesome remarks. Oh, Hinata and Sasuke gave me something I meant to open earlier, said Sakura. Really? Asked Temari. Sakura took out Hinata's gift first and opened it. It was a portrait that was taken on the goodbye party they had for Naruto. It had all the sensei, the two Sennin, Team 8, 10, and Guy. Naruto made Sasuke go, but he was still recovering. Even the Sand siblings were there. That's really nice of Hinata-san to give you, said Temari. I wonder what Sasuke-kun gave me, said Sakura, taking out Sasuke's package. She opened it to reveal an outfit. A piece of paper fell out. Sakura-ne-chan. This outfit was made for you with the Uchiha crest on it. You will always be my sister to me. Sasuke. That outfit will look good on you, said Temari, unfolding it. It was a dark blue kimono with the Uchiha crest on the back. Sasuke-kun, said Sakura, looking at the note. Tenten sat in her room that the Mizukage is letting her use until the marriage. She was looking at the sword that everyone pitched in to get her before she left. It was beautiful, sharp, and deadly. It had a strong metal for the hilt and was encrusted with a beautiful jewel. I wonder what Hinata gave me, said Tenten, taking out the package. It was the same thing as Sakura's, the portrait of everybody. Tenten smiled and sighed. She really missed her friends. Then something caught her eye. A piece of paper fell out. Tenten, I knew Hinata-sama was giving this gift to you. I will really miss you. Neji. Tenten grinned to look at the necklace that was attached to the bottom. It was a shuriken necklace with her teammates' names on it along with hers. Ino sighed and looked at the picture that Sai drew her. It was one of his best works. Naturally, his work was always good. On the bottom, he titled it, Nakama. Ino loved it as much as the other piece of work he gave her last Valentine's Day of her surrounded by hundreds of flowers. She had opened Hinata's gift and loved it as well. I miss them, sighed Ino. Too bad on the back of the Valentine's Day one told Ino that he really did think she was beautiful. Ino stared at the ceiling, spacing off to think of happier times. Tsunade sat in her office. She worked quiet late that night. She was sighing a lot lately. She missed the cheerful greeting that she would get from Sakura every morning, or the loud greeting from Ino, or the calm greeting from Tenten. She missed those girls and felt bad about doing this to them. But it was a Hokage's duty to protect the village, even if the Hokage had to send some of her best ninja to get married to people they didn't love. Grandpa, uncle, sensei, Arashi, how did you deal with things like these? She asked the 4 previous Hokage. She knew that they had to deal with similar things when they were in office. She wondered how they dealt with it. I'm getting old. ACGOMN. Okay, that's it for this chapter. Not as long as the previous one though. Now time for chapter 4, Omake. Yamato and Jiraiya stared at the letter that Tsunade sent them about the marriages of some of Naruto's friends and the love of his life. Oh shit, they both thought. They stared at it, then at Naruto, who was training. What? Asked Naruto. Nothing, said Yamato. Seriously, what? Asked Naruto, knowing they were hiding something from him. Gaki, get back to work, said Jiraiya. Oh shut up you pervert, yelled Naruto. Not so loud you dumbass, snapped Jiraiya. As they began the triad of insults, Yamato watched amused. Yeah, they won't tell Naruto, not yet at least. Sakura and Temari looked at each other, trying to stay was talking about Temari's wedding, which is, wedding was in 1 week, seeing on how she is already over 18. Gaara and Kankuru were going to come up to Iwa to give Tamari away. Sakura would be the maid of honor and one of the witnesses. Tamari would have never imagined that she would be making wedding plans here. In one of her daydreams after she finally realized that she was in love with Shikamaru, she had imagined herself and Shika's mother, Yoshino, would be making plans for a simple wedding on the Nara deer farm. Now she was having a big wedding for all of Iwa and Suna to see. Well, at least her brothers are coming. Tamari thought she was lucky that Sakura was here. They got along whenever she would go to Konoha, so it was a relief to have a familiar face around. "So what do you think of red roses, Tamari-san?" asked Ginko. I think they are okay," replied Tamari. "Excellent," squealed Ginko, writing that down. On the other side of Tamari was Jimei, who was seething with annoyance. Sakura was sighing lightly, don't understanding why she was here. Sakura had until her next birthday to wait, which was 1 month from today. "You two are dismissed for the day," said Ginko, "but my dear son must stay behind." Jimei growled in anger and the two girls left. Outside, Sakura and Tamari sighed and decided to get something to eat. "I can't believe that I have to marry a 12-year-old, said Sakura. "Well, at least you don't have to marry a guy who is always pissed off," said Tamari. "I miss Konoha, Suna," said Sakura and Tamari. "We really can't do anything about it," said Tamari. "Don't I know it," said Sakura. "I just hope everyone else is faring well." "Ami too," said Tamari, thinking of her brothers. Tenten stared at Higoshi and Haruki, who were arguing. What they were arguing about, you ask? The food selection for the wedding. Tenten mentioned to Higoshi when they went out to lunch that Chinese food was her favorite. So now Higoshi told Haruki to pick a few Chinese dishes. Haruki insisted that the lords weren't fond of Chinese food. Tenten usually had to break up Sakura and Ino's catfights, but between complete strangers she didn't know if she should intervene. "What about Tenten-san?" asked Higoshi. "She deserves at least something that she would want at her wedding." "Well, it won't be exactly her dream wedding," said Haruki, right back her. I really don't care if we have Chinese food or not," said Tenten, softly. "See, I was right," said Haruki, smirking. Whatever," snapped Higoshi. "Now, Tenten-san, what do you think about white roses?" asked Haruki, ignoring his friend. I suppose if that's what you want," said Tenten. "Okay, now about your kimono," said Higoshi, trying to change the subject. "Kimono?" asked Tenten. "Yes, the traditional wedding kimono," said Haruki. "I had to dress up too." His face said he was displeased about this as well. "It won't be so bad," said Higoshi. "It's just for the ceremony, then you change for the after party." I don't think I'm cut out for this," said Tenten. "Sure you are," said Haruki. "It just takes time. I'm sure you aren't the type of girl to be the housewife type." "I'm not," said Tenten. "Don't worry, we have servants to do the housework and cook," said Haruki. "Oh, did I mention that after the wedding Higoshi is moving in with us?" "Really?" asked Tenten. "I figured you wouldn't want to be surrounded by him all day," said Higoshi. "No, I don't mind," said Tenten, thankful that she won't be alone with a strange man, no matter how nice he is. Ino wanted to be home in her own bed, hiding from this insane woman that was forcing flower arrangements and food on her. Hisako and Ino were planning the wedding along with Hoshiko, who was in place of Hyotaru, for he wanted nothing to do with any wedding plans. Hisako was giggling at the cute outfits for the bride and the maid of honor. Hoshiko was twitching and Ino wished she was back home. "I was thinking of going non-traditional," squealed Hisako. "What about traditional?" asked Hoshiko. "I thought the Yamanaka family was all for traditional." "It really doesn't matter, does it?" asked Ino. "But I always wanted to plan a non-traditional wedding," sighed Hisako. "Then do so," replied Ino. "I don't really care how the wedding goes." "Yeah, she probably wants to get this over with," commented Hoshiko. "The rest of her life is ruined anyway." Ino glared at the girl, who just shrugged. "Her life isn't ruined," said Hisako. "It's just the beginning." Ino sighed as the two women began arguing over complete nonsense. Ino's mind began to block out the two, while her thoughts went over to the days in Konoha. Her and her team at the barbecue place, her and Sakura's arguments, Sai being annoying, and that bumbling idiot Naruto. Naruto, thought Ino. Oh crap, he's not going to be happy when he hears about this. I won't be surprised if he runs all the way to Iwa to stop Sakura's wedding. Ino smiled for the first time she came there, thinking of the orange and black clad ninja who always tried to make everyone happy. "Why are you smiling?" asked Hoshiko. Yay, she smiles, exclaimed Hisako. Ino's sweat dropped and sighed. She wished she was back home with everything normal. She repeated the mantra that Anko and Kurenai taught her and the other girls. Kunoichi are born among lies and deceits and never have happy endings. Oi, yelled Hoshiko. Don't space out. We are planning your wedding. You don't want to be in an ugly dress, don't you? You're right, I'm sorry, said Ino. Don't worry. I'm sure you just have a lot on your mind. Ah, replied Ino. Sarutobi Asuma was very worried about his wife, which is why he is carrying her to see Tsunade. She hasn't slept decently in a week. That would be scary because the fact is that Kurenai is cranky if she doesn't get enough sleep. Asuma, you put me down this instant, yelled Kurenai. That began attracting attention to the rooftops where they were currently. No, you are going to see Shizune or Tsunade-sama, said Asuma, beginning to move again. Kurenai huffed and growled. That made Asuma pick up the pace. When they finally got to the Hokage Tower, Shizune was waiting outside for Kakashi. See, Shizune is busy, said Kurenai. But you need to see someone, said Asuma. Oh, go on up to see Tsunade-sama, said Shizune, she's most likely sleeping. See, I told you that one of them would be able to see you, said Asuma. Kurenai glared at her husband and walked on up to the Hokage's office, with Asuma following after. Outside of the Hokage's office, Asuma was waiting for Kurenai and Tsunade to finish talking. Inside, Tsunade told Kurenai that she would give her a medical exam to see if something was wrong, then she would have to talk to Ibiki if it was mental. Shizune waited patiently for Kakashi to show up to take her out to lunch like he promised. Kakashi wasn't usually late to pick her up, otherwise she'd get mad, so she wondered what was taking him so long. Sorry I'm late, said Kakashi, appearing out of nowhere. I overslept. Well, at least he gave her a reasonable explanation. Ah, it's okay, said Shizune, absent-mindedly. Are you alright? Asked Kakashi, noticing something off with his girlfriend. You aren't mad at all that I'm late. What? Oh, not really I guess, said Shizune. Are you feeling alright? Asked Kakashi. Maybe you should talk to Tsunade-sama. Really I'm fine. If you say so, said Kakashi. You know if you need to talk I'll be there. Now, let's go get some lunch at Ichiraku. Hi, said Shizune. Anko was sitting on the same swing Naruto used to sit on when he was younger. She had no clue why she was here. Iruka wouldn't be getting out of work for a few hours. She had been thinking a lot lately about her sanity. Maybe I'm losing my mind. That wouldn't be possible. Usually insane people don't realize they're crazy. Anko thought that maybe she just needed someone to talk to. She couldn't talk to Iruka, because then he'd get so worried about her. Shizune and Kurenai were off these days, so Anko didn't want to bother them. Tsunade-sama would understand, right? Her mind was made up. She stood up and began her way to the Hokage Tower. She got there in a matter of minutes and saw that Asuma was waiting outside of the office. He looked worried. Oi, said Anko. Hey Anko, said Asuma, staring at the door. Is Kurenai in there? Asked Anko. Yeah, she hasn't been getting enough sleep lately, said Asuma. So, she went to talk to Tsunade-sama about it, asked Anko. Actually I dragged her here, said Asuma. Ah, I see, said Anko. I wonder what is wrong with Kurenai. She normally is fine. Maybe it was that mission like me. Kurenai walked out of the office, crying. Anko's eyes widened. What's the matter? Asked Asuma. Kurenai, whispered Anko. I was pregnant, said Kurenai. What do you mean was? Asked Asuma, before the words sank in. Anko went over to her friend and did something out of her character. She hugged Kurenai and told her that it will be alright. You do realize you are marrying me, yelled Jame. No I didn't, snapped Tamari, sarcastically. I can't believe you had your boyfriend write you a letter, said Jame. Tamari, you are the one from Sunet to get married, huh? Oh well, good luck. Shikamaru. He's not my boyfriend and it's none of your business, said Tamari. You are going to be my wife, said Jame, trying to regain his composure. And we may not be in love with each other, but if some servant finds this and sells it to the press, we are screwed. I never meant for him to actually write back, snapped Tamari. I'll destroy it if it makes you happy. I'm not really a bad guy, it's just that it would be troublesome for the press to be able to bash my family any more than they already have, said Jame. I know, said Tamari. She guessed this was the best she was going to get in life with this guy. Sakura sat in her room, waiting for Tamari to get back from talking to Jame, who looked angry. Sakura sighed and looked at the outfit that Sasuke gave her. She took it and decided that she would have to try it on eventually. Knock, knock, said a voice from outside the door. She recognized it as Hachiman's voice. Come in, said Sakura. The door opened to reveal a cheery Hachiman. What do you need, Hachiman-kun? Just call me Hachi-kun, okay, said Hachi. Anyway, I need to talk to you. About what? Asked Sakura. Well, I wanted to say sorry. For what? That you have to marry a kid like me. It's not that bad, smiled Sakura. Well, tried to smile at least. Liar, said Hachi. Don't smile like that. A pretty girl like you shouldn't be sad. Huh, I'm not at all pretty. Don't lie. Man, I hope you aren't a chronic liar. You are very pretty, hasn't anyone told you that before? Well, yes, but I haven't seen him in a very long time, said Sakura. I'm sure he still thinks that you are pretty, said Hachi, but I just want to tell you. Even though I don't think we'll fall in love with each other, I still want to let you know that if you need to talk to me about anything that you think you can't talk to with Tamari-san. Good night. Good night, Hachi-kun, and thank you, said Sakura. No problem, said Hachi, as he left. Sakura smiled to herself and began getting dressed in that outfit that Sasuke gave her. Hinata and Washi stared at his mother in horror at the outfits. Neon yellow. Washi twitched. Yellow was his least favorite color and in neon made his hatred grow. Hinata knew it was too bright. Mom, are you serious? Complained Washi. No, said Akemi, I decided that since I'm boring you. You two will plan it all by yourself. Nani, yelled Washi and said Hinata. Have fun, said Akemi, disapproving. Hinata, do you know how to plan a wedding? Asked Washi. Not a clue, said Hinata. We are screwed, said Washi. Aren't we? But we will figure it out right, said Washi, right? Yeah, said Hinata. Tenten was ready to go to sleep when she heard some outside. Tenten raised an eyebrow and got up. She went over to the doors that lead outside on the balcony. She peeked outside to see the young Mizukage, Haruki. When I call your name as usual you sit right next to me, when I smile at you usual there's a secret code, mumbled Haruki. Luckily, Tenten had good hearing and heard every word. She listened to see if he would say anything else. The feelings I always can't say, it's kind of late but please listen. I think he might be talking about Higoshi. Who would have guessed? Tenten thought it would be best to head to sleep before she was caught. Now, she felt really bad about doing this marriage thing. Ino sighed into her pillow. It just wasn't the same as in Konoha. Sure, the people here were nice, but home is what she ached for. She wanted to see everyone and not just through a picture. She wondered how Sakura, Tenten, and Hinata were going. And what about the boys too? She missed them terribly. I don't fit in here, sighed Ino. I never wanted to go home as much as I do now. Ino wanted to cry but she refused to cry again. Kunoichi are born among lies and deceit and never have a happy ending. I guess that's true. I should have figured that I would never get my happy ending, said Ino to herself. Man, I must be losing it if I can hold a conversation with myself. Ino began laughing hysterically and then began crying. I want to go home to be with the people that really love me. A week after the letter incident between Tamari and Jame, they decided not to talk about that again. The wedding would be today. Gaara and Kankuru arrived the day before. Soon the ceremony would start. In the bride's room Tamari was getting ready along with Sakura, Harukichi, the wife of Fumihiro, and Ginkgo who were assisting her. You look beautiful, said Harukichi, admiring Tamari's wedding kimono. Thank you, said Tamari. Hey, would you two mind if Tamari and I talked alone for a while? Asked Sakura. The two women complied and left Tamari and Sakura alone. Sakura, said Tamari. Tamari, you do look very beautiful, said Sakura, in a sad voice. What's the matter? Asked Tamari. I just thought that you would be marrying Shikamaru someday, said Sakura. Oh, said Tamari, don't worry. The two of us have to stick together here. For Konoha and Suna, right? Asked Sakura. Naturally, that's our duty as a kunoichi, said Tamari. Tamari, good luck, said Sakura. Tamari understood that it meant good luck trying to stop loving Shikamaru. Then, there was a knock at the door. Ah, who is it? Asked Tamari. Gaara and Kankuru, said the voice of her younger brother. Sakura opened the door to let the two of them inside. Looking good, Sakura, commented Kankuru. Anyway, Tamari, the wedding is starting in 5 minutes. Thank you, father time, said Tamari, as if Kankuru was stating the obvious. Haha, said Kankuru. Sakura, said Gaara, finally speaking, I see that you are well. Yes, said Sakura. Does Naruto know? Asked Gaara. I don't know, replied Sakura. If he did he would have been over here in an instant to come and save the girls, said Kankuro, rolling his eyes at the thought of the blonde's antics. Tamari, said Gaara, you know you don't have to do through with this. Yes I do. It's for Suna, said Tamari, and I'm not leaving Sakura here alone. I'm not bailing. Stubborn as ever Aneki, said Gaara, with a smirk. Shall we go? Gaara and Kankuro were to give away the bride as per the custom. Sakura was the maid of honor. The whole place would be filled with lords, ladies and other royals, including the cage of the 5 main shinobi villages. Except Tsunade wasn't there but in Kiri. Even with both of Temari's on either side of her and Sakura walking in front of her, she was wrecked. She didn't want to do this but she was following her brain and sense of duty over her heart as usual. The walk down the aisle seemed too long for Temari's liking. It seemed like hours and that everyone was gawking at her. But then she realized that she is the bride, everyone is to look at her. Who is giving away the bride? Asked the Tsuchikage, who was performing the service. Sabaku no Gaara and Kankuro, replied both boys, letting their sister go up to her future husband. We shall begin then, said the Tsuchikage. And the wedding proceeded without much interruption. Around the same time in Kiri, while Tamari was getting married so was Tenten. Since Tenten had no family, Guy and Lee were going to walk her down the aisle. Neji also accompanied them to watch them and make sure that they don't screw up. And secretly to see the guy that Tenten is marrying. Tenten was getting her final touches on her makeup done by Higoshi. Tenten felt awkward around her after she realized that she was breaking Haruki and Higoshi's hearts by not letting them be together. Of course she forgets that she's breaking her own heart by marrying Haruki and not being in Konoha to be with Neji. It isn't her fault, let's blame the council. But whatever Tenten did to make her feel less guilty didn't help. Tenten-san, you look tense, commented Higoshi. I'm just nervous, said Tenten. That and the fact is that you don't want to do this, said Higoshi. Yeah, said Tenten. Don't worry, Haruki Baka will treat you right, said Higoshi. I'm not worried about that. I know that Haruki-sama is a good guy, said Tenten. So that Hyuga is who you are worried about, said Higoshi, meeting Tenten's teammates the day before. Let me guess you are in love with him. Yeah, I guess I always have, said Tenten. Just like me, whispered Higoshi. What was that? Asked Tenten, even though she heard it perfectly. Ten, yelled the voice of Lee. Higoshi is saved from the question. Yes, Lee, asked Tenten. The wedding is about to begin and they need their bride, said Neji, not Lee. Neji had his hand over Lee's mouth so he wouldn't yell again. Ah, well Higoshi-san, said Tenten, are we ready? Indeed, said Higoshi. She was the maid of honor and best, women. She had a dual job to attend to. Guy and Lee grabbed Tenten to begin in after Higoshi. Neji went back to his seat, silently as only Neji could do. Tenten, you ready? Asked Guy, surprisingly not loud. As I'll ever be, commented Tenten. The walk down the aisle was faster than Tenten hoped it would be. She would be married any minute now to someone she didn't love. She looked at her idol, Tsunade, who gave her a smile. Tsunade was marrying them as seen as it's the Mizukage getting hitched. Who is giving away the bride? Asked Tsunade. We are, said the green-suited duo. Ah, let's begin shall we, said Tsunade, who began the service. As the service was happening, Neji sat in the front row trying to stay calm for Konoha's sake. As the question of, does anyone have a problem with this union? Speak now or forever hold you peace? Neji truly tried not to jump up, in un-Hyuga manner, and scream that Tenten is his. And he succeeded in going through that and the I-dos. During the kiss of the newlyweds, Neji wanted to kill the Mizukage but held back. Neji, are you alright? Asked Lee. I'm fine, said Neji. Then breathe, said Lee. Neji, Lee, Guy-sensei, said Tenten to her old team. I really appreciate you coming. Of course we wouldn't miss this Tenten, said Guy. That's a silly notion, said Lee. Ah, said Neji. Tenten-san, Higoshi, time for the first dance as man and wife. Tenten nodded and hugged all of her teammates one by one and left to go dance. Neji sighed slightly as to make sure that Guy and Lee didn't hear. As Tenten danced with Haruki, both seemed happy. But to the trained eye of Higoshi, Guy, Lee and Neji they knew that the two of them weren't happy. Someone from the crowd, don't they look like such a happy couple? Yeah right, if only they knew. If they knew what was happening to 4 people's hearts right now. Breaking into tiny little pieces. A month later in Iwagakure, Sakura was the one getting ready for her wedding now that she was 18. She was marrying a 12-year-old boy. Sasuke nearly flipped about that little detail. Sasuke, Sai, and Kakashi were there, along with her parents and sister. Kakashi and her father were the ones to walk Sakura down the aisle. It was true that Naruto had no clue about this. Temari was doing the finishing touches on Sakura's hair. Sakura, said her sister, you look good. Thank you, said Sakura. Oi, Sakura-ne-chan, said Sasuke, knocking on the door. Come in Sasuke-kun, said Sakura. Hey, Temari, said Sasuke. Wow, you are pleasant, said Temari. I'm going to ignore that statement, said Sasuke. Kaka-sensei and your father are waiting for you. Okay, I'm ready, said Sakura. Thanks for coming Sasuke-kun. Ah, no problem, said Sasuke. Although you should be with Naruto. Was Sasuke's unspoken thought. Sakura walked out of the room to see her father and Kakashi talking pleasantly. Is my daughter ready? Asked her father. Sakura, you are a beautiful bride, said Kakashi. Thank you Kaka-sensei, said Sakura. I'm ready. Her father and Kakashi took one arm on Sakura each to walk her down the aisle. Her sister, mother, Sasuke and Sai took their seat in the front row. Temari was walking in first as the maid of honor. Sakura felt more comfortable with her father and Kakashi there next to her. Secretly she's more comfortable with Kakashi, but her father here is nice. Kakashi was looking worriedly at his former student, hoping that she wasn't going to regret this one day. Her father was happy that his second daughter made something of herself, unlike her older sister. Sasuke watched as his teammate and sister walked down that aisle. Sasuke since his return imagined that he would be the best man, standing next to Naruto seeing Sakura walk down the aisle. Sasuke sighed and eyed Sai to see his reaction. As usual, Sai was smiling, but you could tell he was less thrilled about this than him. Sakura's older sister put one hand on Sasuke's shoulder and one on Sai's as if to say, she decided to do this for Konoha, don't worry. Sasuke had no idea how he was going to tell Naruto this. Sasuke internally cringed at the sight of his heartbroken best friend. Sakura got to the altar and smiled at Hachiman, who smiled shyly back. Sasuke and Sai glared at him. Who gives this bride away? Asked the Tsuchikage. I, Kakashi do, he said. As do I, said her father. Let's begin, said the cage. Tsunade looked at her apprentice as she got married and didn't look forward to telling Naruto, her little brother, this. I just helped break Naruto's heart into many pieces. I do, said Sakura. I do, said Hachiman. With that the two were married. At the after-party Sasuke and Sakura danced, Sai and Sakura danced, and Sakura danced with Kakashi too. Sakura also danced with her father. Sakura had her first dance with Hachiman, which to Sasuke looked completely wrong. Oi, Sakura's Aneki, said Sasuke, referring to Sakura's elder sister. Yeah, Sasuke, said the girl. I think Temari's husband is looking at you, said Sasuke. I didn't notice, said the girl. Sasuke-kun, I want to talk to my sister, said Sakura, interrupting their conversation. Ah, whatever, said Sasuke, stalking off. Aneki, said Sakura. Said the older girl. I know, said the sister, hugging Sakura. I know. Sasuke watched the two siblings as did Sai, who said nothing. The rest of spring passed, as did the summer. Now it was a beautiful autumn day in Kumogakure and Ino stood in front of a mirror with Hoshiko putting her hair up. Her parents and her team came to see her off to marriage. Inoichi and Shikamaru would be walking her down the aisle. Relax, said Hoshiko, you're shaking too much. I can't help it, said Ino. I know you don't want to do this, but it was your choice to help your country, said Hoshiko. This girl was the only one Ino felt comfortable around. Hoshiko came from a different country as well. Meh, this is so troublesome, said Shikamaru, from outside the door. Shikamaru, stop complaining for once, said Asuma. I'll leave him alone, said Choji, munching on chips. He is still angry that Temari got married, now he is losing one of his best friends. Just as bad as Neji with Hinata and Tenten. Temari, Sakura, and Tenten are married already, said Ino. How come you didn't tell me? We didn't want to upset you, said Inoichi. HMPH, said Ino. Poor Shikamaru losing Tamari, poor Neji for losing Tenten, and doubly poor Naruto for losing Sakura. Naruto was going to confess as soon as he got back. He told Ino all about it. "Stop screeching," said Hoshiko, "there you are done." Ino stepped out to greet her friends and family face to face. They had just arrived that day. "You look good, princess," said Kunoichi. "Meh, troublesome girl," said Shikamaru with a smile on his face. "Look good, Ino," commented Choji. "Come on, we have a wedding to go through," said Hoshiko, who was the maid of honor and best woman. Kunoichi and Shikamaru were ready to walk Ino down the aisle. Ino thought that this would be the longest walk of her life. Ino normally liked attention, but with a bunch of people staring at her like that. Kunoichi knew that Ino wasn't going to be happy, but she decided to do this anyway. He remembered Ino as a young girl dreaming of her Prince Charming and dream wedding. That was soon shattered by everything that had happened over the past years, since she became a Kunoichi. Shikamaru sighed. He remembered all those fantasies that Ino wanted to live in, but knew she couldn't. She never liked Sasuke, but admired him. Shikamaru found this after a year that Sasuke left. Shikamaru couldn't believe what Tamari, Sakura, Tenten, Ino and Hinata are giving up for Konoha and their clans or their lack of. Shikamaru knew girls were troublesome and didn't feel like understanding them. At the altar, Shikamaru and Kunoichi let Ino go up to Hyotaru. Shikamaru gave his teammate a slight smile and sat down next to Choji. Kunoichi gave his daughter a kiss on the cheek and sat next to his wife. The ceremony was quick up until the speak now or forever hold your peace part. Kunoichi, Choji, and Shikamaru wanted to object but didn't. Not the way Ino was looking. Determined, and you can never change her mind when she sets it to something. I do. You may kiss the bride." And the very short peck on the lips. The reception was boring, except for the food. "I can't believe you went through that," said a familiar voice from behind Ino. "Sai," yelled Ino. "Long time no see, Miss Beautiful," said Sai. "When? How? Why? I came here to see you, duh," said Sai. "By the way, I saw Sakura. She married a TW-year-old. "Oh my," said Ino. "Sasuke-kun was not happy about that, I bet." "Nor was I," said Sai. "At least your husband is somewhat acceptable." Sai eyed Hyotaru, who was speaking with Hoshiko. "Thanks for coming," said Ino. "Ah," replied Sai. He didn't know what this feeling was right now, but he didn't like it. Ino went over to her new husband and her new friend, leaving Sai. "Sai, you better stop staring at them like that," said Shikamaru. "People may get the wrong idea." "Oh," said Sai, looking at Shikamaru. "Don't worry, the feeling will eventually pass," said Shikamaru. "You too with Tamari-san, right?" said Sai. "Ah, let's get some food before Choji eats it all," said Shikamaru, dragging the once emotionless Sai toward the food. Autumn time soon passed and winter strolled in with 4 feet of snow in Konoha, who are known to have bad winters. Hinata sat in her room with Hanabi. Hinata was dressed and ready to go. "So you are going married today," said Hanabi. "I can't believe that you are going through with this just to become head. You are strong enough without a man by your side." "The council obviously has no faith in me," said Hinata, frowning. Now don't frown," said Akemi coming in. "Ah," said Hinata. "Washi is a nervous wreck," said Akemi. "I don't think that Sasuke-san is helping." "What is that Uchiha doing?" sighed Hanabi. "I better go save Washi." Hanabi left the room to do just that. "Sweetie, don't worry, everything will be fine," said Akemi. "Washi will help you with the clan duties so you don't have so much work." "I know, I'm not worried about that," said Hinata. Today was the day Naruto returns. She tried to get it earlier, but no one would listen to her or Washi, who tried to help. Kami help her. Make sure Naruto gets there after the wedding. She really didn't care if he crashed the reception, because knowing Naruto, he would do just that if he couldn't crash the wedding. "Just get through the I-dos," said Akemi, "everything will be fine." "I just hope you are right," said Hinata. "Oi, Hinata-sama," said Neji, "Hiyashi-sama is waiting for you." "I'm coming, Neji-ni-san," said Hinata, as she thanked Akemi for calming her somewhat. "Hinata, you look just like your mother," said Hiyashi. "Thank you, Oto-sama," said Hinata. "Shall we go?" said Hiyashi. Tsunade was performing the ceremony so Hiyashi could walk his eldest daughter down the aisle. Hinata breathed in and out. With her father at her side and Hanabi ahead of her, and the other boys there calmed her. But she noticed Sasuke and Sai weren't there. Maybe they were trying to stall Naruto or waiting for him to show to stall him. Hinata was being gazed at. Now she felt as if she was 12 again, when she was a dark, timid weirdo. Well, she still is dark and weird though. Who gives the bride away? Asked Tsunade. I do, her father, said Hiyashi, letting Hinata go over to Washi. Hiyashi's eyes told Washi that his daughter better be safe with him. We shall begin, said Tsunade. Everything felt like a blur to Hinata. She felt the words, I do, come out of her mouth and Washi's as well. The kiss the bride part was nothing to remember, Washi did it quickly. Hinata-san, you look very pretty, said Washi as they headed to the room where the reception would be held. Tsunade went off to go to a session with Kurenai, Shizune, and Anko. I just hope Naruto-kun will show up tomorrow, said Hinata. I'm sure everything will be fine, said Washi. Sasuke-san and Sai-san went to stall him because Hanabi-san kicked both of them out. I hope they weren't doing anything bad, said Hinata. No, just trying to scare me, said Washi. I think it's because they lost Sakura-san, Ino-san, Tenten-san and Tamari-san. Yes, Sakura-chan leaving broke Sasuke-san again, said Hinata. Sai was quite depressed after attending Ino's wedding. Shikamaru was looking like he was the walking dead after hearing from Kankuro that Tamari-chan got married. Neji Ni-san fared no better with Tenten-chan. Don't worry, said Washi, smiling. Try to have some fun, okay? Hi, said Hinata, taking Washi's hand as they went into the ballroom. Sasuke and Sai were walking in their kimonos next to Naruto, Jiraiya, Kakashi, and Yamato. Kakashi, Sasuke and Sai looked uncomfortable. So how come no one else came, said Naruto. Busy I think, said Sasuke. I'm glad that you were alright, Sasuke, said Naruto, you were even being nice. Yeah, said Sasuke. Man, why is there so much snow on the ground, said Naruto. It's winter, Naruto, said Sai. Said Naruto, so, what's with the kimonos? Nothing, said Sasuke, Sai and Kakashi too quickly. Oi, Ero Sennin, what's the deal, asked Naruto. Oh, I think today's Hinata's wedding to her betrothed. You know, someone she doesn't love, said Jiraiya. Sasuke, Sai and Kakashi turned pale and paler. Oh, what the fuck do you mean, yelled Naruto, after a second. Nice going, yelled Sasuke and Sai at the Sennin. Sasuke and Sai grabbed Naruto, who was ready to bolt to the Hyuga compound. Let go, yelled Naruto, struggling against the two. Yamato ran off to the Hokage to alert her. Who the hell is Hinata marrying? She's not the only one, kid, said Jiraiya. Jiraiya, shut the fuck up right now, snapped Sasuke. Do you want him to go demon on us all? What are you hiding from me, yelled Naruto. Tamari, Tenten, Ino and Sakura are married off in different countries, said Jiraiya, calmly. What? Oh dear Kami, said Kakashi, who began off to the Hyuga compound to alert them. Naruto broke free of Sasuke and Sai's grasp and in an instant he ran off to the Hyuga's place. What the fuck did you do that for, asked Sasuke. I couldn't tell him while we were on the training trip, said Jiraiya, plus it's too late now, right? Hinata's ceremony is over. I hope Naruto doesn't do anything stupid, said Sai. Sasuke looked at him and then bolted off after his best friend. Sai was following after. Jiraiya shrugged, the boy would have to get over it eventually. I just hope he doesn't kill Hinata's husband, said Jiraiya, sighing. He went off in the direction of the Hokage tower. Hinata and Washi were sitting down. Hinata felt something was wrong in the air. Something bad was going to happen as the thought went through her mind. About 10 Hyugas went flying in trying to stop a demon's rampage. Shit, Naruto, said Shikamaru, becoming alert. Choji, Neji, Shino, Kiba, you guys know what to do. Hi, said the four. The formation was to stop Naruto and calm him. But they weren't going to attack him. Naruto, said Kiba, get hold of yourself. Naruto, don't be stupid and calm down, said Shino. Naruto, stop, you're scaring people, said Choji. Naruto, said Neji. But Neji noticed something. Kyuubi's energy wasn't out, it was all Naruto. Shikamaru, I don't think this is going to work. Shikamaru, let me do something, said Hinata. Fine, but be careful, said Shikamaru to the girl. Hinata nodded and approached Naruto. Hinata, how could you marry someone that I know you don't love, yelled Naruto. I had to, Naruto-kun, said Hinata, calmly as she stared at him. And the others, said Naruto, finally calming down after seeing Hinata. Naruto, they left to protect Konoha and I'm doing this so I can change the Hyuga clan, said Hinata. Washi isn't a bad person. Washi, so that's the guy's name, said Naruto, still angry. Naruto, calm down, said Sasuke, JSUT showing up. Why didn't anyone tell me this, said Naruto. Because we knew that you would try and save them all from unwanted marriage, said Sai, showing up right after Sasuke. Even though they decided to do this of their own free will, the heart was against it, said Neji. We are Kunoichi Naruto-kun, said Hinata, it's going to be okay. Hinata hugged Naruto, who broke down crying. He was crying because he really did lose Sakura and the fact that all the girls that he wanted to protect were not in his protection reach. Tamari and Sakura were at a ramen stand eating, when a ramen bowl that the cook was holding dropped and broke in pieces. Tamari and Sakura exchanged glances and knew something happened with Naruto. Ino was tending to some flowers when a sunflower, which are not in season, wilted in a greenhouse. Sunflowers remind me of Naruto. Tenten was polishing one of her old swords, when she noticed a crack in it. Naruto gave me that sword after Sasuke returned. Tsunade was listening to the three women in front of her. Shizune felt like she is a bad person for seducing that man. Anko couldn't get the sight of blood off of her and Kurenai lost a baby she didn't even know that she was going to have. Tsunade was thinking of putting them on inactive duty for a while, but she needed her shinobi right now. Hokage-sama, said Yamato, barging in with Kakashi after. Yamato, Kakashi, yelled Tsunade, what's wrong? Naruto crashed the Hyuga reception, said Yamato. Oh no, said Tsunade. I had to tell him, said Jiraiya appearing. Could you have done it in a better way, asked Kakashi. But Hinata has Naruto under control for now. At least he didn't take a swing at Washi-san. Kakashi see to it that Naruto is filled in about everything, said Tsunade. I know you have a way with words. Sure thing, said Kakashi, popping out of the room. So, inactive duty for you three for a month, said Tsunade. You three Kunoichi are dismissed until tomorrow. Yamato, you can go home. Jiraiya and I need to talk. Jiraiya gulped and knew he was in some trouble. It was a week after Naruto crashed the Hyuga's place and he was standing at Team 7's old training grounds waiting. Soon Neji, Sasuke, Sai, Choji, Shikamaru, Kiba, Shino, and Lee appeared to Naruto. What's the deal, Naruto? Asked Sasuke. I'm trying to catch up on my sleep. Your beauty sleep can wait, Sasuke, said Naruto. Naruto, I have lessons to attend to, said Neji. I must train, Yash, said Lee. Shino and I have a mission to head to Suna, said Kiba, wondering what the hell he was here for. You are so troublesome, Naruto, said Shikamaru. Choji just ate his chips, while Sai had a feeling of what Naruto was going to do. What the hell is wrong with you? Asked Naruto to all the boys. What are you talking about? Asked Lee. You let Sakura and the other girls go off and get married, said Naruto. You should have tried to change their minds. We couldn't do anything, said Sai. It was a mission and they accepted it like the good Kunoichi they are. I wasn't going to go and be Sakura's knight in shining armor, said Sasuke. She did what she had to help Konoha and Suna avoid war. Naruto, you have to get over it, said Neji. The best thing you can do is not be miserable. I was supposed to protect them, stated Naruto. They didn't need protection, said Shikamaru. The girls are all strong in their own right. You can't save everybody. Oh, that's right. Sakura told me to give you a letter, said Sasuke. It's at my house. You just let them go, said Naruto. We had no choice in the matter, it was their decision, said Sai. And you have to respect that. Fine, fine, said Naruto, but when's the last time you saw them? Sai, Kakashi, and I went to Sakura's wedding, said Sasuke. She was quite the bride, Evna, though her groom wasn't even a 15 yet. Yes, that 12-year-old boy, said Sai, absent-mindedly. Oh dear Kami, said Naruto, she married a 12-year-old. I know, said Sasuke. Gaara and Kankuro went to Temari's wedding. Shikamaru and I went to Ino's, said Choji, and Sai too. I believe that Neji, Lee, and Gai Sensei went to Tenten's. And you all went to Hinata's wedding, said Naruto. We at least Hinata is still in Konoha, now I can watch her. That's my job, said Neji. Piss off, Neji, said Naruto, I'm going to see how that Washi guy treats her. He's fine, said Neji, not a jerk. If you say so, said Sasuke, he likes to analyze people. Sai and I tried to scare him. Alright, I'm going home, said Naruto, leaving. You think he is going to be alright, said Lee. He'll be fine, said Sasuke, walking off. Everyone else left the training grounds to go do what they needed to do. About 2 years passed after all that happened. In Iwagakure, Sakura sat outside with Hachiman. They seemed to be pleasantly talking with each other. Hachiman noticed that Sakura hasn't been happy with that distant look in her seafoam eyes, especially after her old teammates visited. That blonde-haired man seemed to hate Hachiman, but he was nice nonetheless. Sakura asked Hachiman. Yes, answered Sakura. You know that Naruto guy, you're in love with him, aren't you? I don't know what you are talking about. Don't lie to me. I know you pretty well by now. So what if I do? He loves you too. I can tell. I know. Then why did you marry me? 'Cause I needed to do it for Konoha as my duty as a Kunoichi. You are too self-sacrificing. You deserve to be happy. Don't start. You say the same thing every day. And, asked Hachiman. They were waiting for Tamari and Jimei to go over to dinner with Fumihiro and Harukichi at their place. Tamari and Jimei came outside arguing as usual. How dare you call me fat, yelled Jimei. Well, if you didn't laze around all day maybe I would think that, barked back Tamari. Che, it's your job to clean the house, not mine. You are on an active duty and you expect me to do everything. Yes I do. You bastard. Ah, guys, maybe you stop yelling. You are scaring the sane people out here, said Sakura, pointing to the civilians, trying to make them stop, which was futile. Be quiet, yelled both of Tamari and Jimei. They never get along ever. Sakura and Hachi sighed and began their way ahead of the arguing pair. Around the same time in Kiri, Tenten was sparring with the current Mizukage, her husband. Haruki was surprised the first time they sparred at how much weapons Tenten owned. But he supposes that what you should suspect from a weapons mistress. Damn, you and your weapons, said Higoshi, appearing with 3 kunai in hand from what Tenten threw. Ah, sorry Higoshi-san, said Tenten. Just be careful, said Higoshi. Maybe if you were paying attention of where you were going, Higoshi, then you wouldn't get hit with weapons, commented Haruki. You have to go back to the office, your lunch break is over, said Higoshi, leaving in a huff. Well, sorry Tenten, duty calls, said Haruki, see you at home later. Tenten waved goodbye and began training. She was getting much better at training alone and her stamina increased from the swimming she has been doing. It's near a beach and Haruki owns a giant pool, so Tenten could use that to her advantage. She saw Neji last week, who was on a mission to deliver something to Haruki from Tsunade. Tenten got to spar with him and lost horribly. Neji seemed to be getting better every time. Neji did comment that their spar was longer than the usual hour or two. Actually it was 4 hours. Higoshi, who had to find her, was surprised how long they went at the fighting. Tenten was okay here. Higoshi and Haruki are always nice and kind to her. But they were the only ones to hang around Tenten, and she didn't bother to get other friends. She still missed Konoha terribly. I wonder how everyone else is doing, pondered Tenten. Neji had talked little about the others and just wanted to spar. 2 years away whispered Tenten to herself as she looked toward the sky. Ino sighed again. She was manning the shop in Kumo for her in-laws. Hyotaru and Hoshiko were on another mission together. Ino's marriage was perfect and argued with Hyotaru often about him helping her out in the shop. Hoshiko usually sided with her in these arguments. Miss, do you have that bouquet of roses I ordered, said the guy coming in. Yes, said Ino, handing him the roses. He paid and left. Ino sighed and couldn't wait to get to her bed. The door opened again and entered Hyotaru and Hoshiko. Hey, there, said Hoshiko, greeting her friend. Hoshiko-san, Hyotaru-san, said Ino. You look miserable as usual, commented Hyotaru. Thanks, said Ino, sarcastically. Hoshiko elbowed her friend in the ribs. Don't be so mean to her, said Hoshiko. Anyway, I'm going out tonight, said Hyotaru. As usual, muttered Ino. I'm staying with Ino-san, said Hoshiko. She usually did stay with her. So be it. Stuck-up prick, said Hoshiko to Hyotaru. Ino sighed and watched as Hoshiko once again berated Hyotaru for being mean to her. Another day, nothing different. Hinata stared at Washi, then at Naruto. Naruto never got used to the idea of Washi coming with all of the guys to Ichiraku. Washi tended to ignore Naruto's glaring, which made him ignore Naruto completely. It was 2 years of this and everyone was getting annoyed with this, especially Hinata and Sasuke. Naruto, said Sasuke, trying to get his attention. He sighed. Oi, brain dead Dobi, pay attention. What the hell did you just call me? Yelled Naruto. You heard me, said Sasuke. At least that got your attention. As I was saying, I believe that Tsunade is getting ready to retire, meaning we will have a new Hokage soon. I'm thinking Kakashi-sensei would be good, said Neji. Hey, what about me? Yelled Naruto. You still need more experience, plus you have to manage a team before anything, said Sai. Yeah, after I get out of the Anbu, said Naruto. Naruto's rank was a Anbu Junin, under Sasuke, which royally pissed him off. Yes, Kakashi-san would be an excellent choice for the Rokudame position, said Washi. Who asked you? Snapped Naruto. Naruto-kun, said Hinata, in a warning voice of a Hyuga head can only possess. Sorry, Hinata, said Naruto. Anyway, Kakashi wants to ask Shizune to marry him before doing anything else. Really, that would be an interesting wedding, said Sai. Oh Kami, then it'll be followed by many Kakashis, said Sasuke. Esh, said everyone. Hey, why are you all talking about me? Said Kakashi, appearing. Everyone's sweat dropped and shook their heads. No. You were supposed to be 4 hours ago, sighed Naruto. Oops, said Kakashi. Whatever, that means you get the check and Naruto ate more than last week's record, said Sasuke, leaving, followed by Sai and Neji. Lee, Kiba, Shino, Hinata, and Washi left, and so did everyone else, leaving the Junin with the check. Damn kids, muttered Kakashi. Here's the check, sir, said the shop owner. Kakashi looked at the bill. Great, there goes Shizune's ring money. Anko, Shizune and Kurenai sat in a quaint coffee shop talking. They all got over their problems, but would have relapses occasionally. Kurenai took on training another team. Anko got an apprentice, and so did Shizune. Kurenai lost a child, but was trying again to get one. Anko was already pregnant and married. Shizune was waiting for Kakashi to ask her to marry her. How do you think Kakashi is going to ask you? Asked Anko. I have no idea, said Shizune. Asuma randomly asked me, said Kurenai. And you actually said yes, said Anko. Well, at least I didn't take a week to answer, said Kurenai. Now don't argue, said Shizune. Yes, mother, said Kurenai and Anko sarcastically, which then both got glared at by Shizune. All 3 women were alright. They're Kunoichi, they're going to be alright. Tsunade looked at her papers in front of her. All she had to was sign her name and choose her successor. She already knew who she wanted, Kakashi. She slowly signed the name on the paper. In a year's time Kakashi would be trained enough for the position. Well, grandpa, uncle, sensei, kid, said Tsunade to the 4 Hokage pictures. Looks like I'm doing the right thing this time. Years later Tsunade would say that all 4 of them were grinning ear to ear in the afterlife, knowing them.